Today it's getting normal, and it's getting more and more normal. But it's not called anti-Semitism, it's today called anti-Zionism. But I think it's just the same, exactly the same.
Obviously, I cannot speak for 35,000 Jews living here. But many have, from their parents and grandparents, got the idea of keep a low profile and then maybe things will blow over.
There are two Jews almost slaughtered in the mark in Amsterdam. We don't have something on our door because of this reason, because we are not doesn't want to be recognized by other people.
Our grandchildren, they live in Brussels, and their school has to be guarded by armed police, and which is a very sad thing to see.
But if you don't want problem, don't put kipát. You never know. You can, just if somebody said to you, Kankariod or something Jew, and if you don't like it, you will go to say, hey, why you say it? So, put just casket, and it's the same.
I myself am not scared. That could be considered as something negative, because sometimes it's good to be scared, but I'm not. On the other hand, I feel very alert, aware that anti-Semitism is growing, or, and that's really what I believe, it's not growing, it's getting more visible. I think it never disappeared, it always stayed. I'm always aware to look around, and it could be someone who drive into me, because it happens very often that people start screaming and shouting at me.
There is much more anti-Semitism. Jewish people can't walk with the kippah or Magen David free like it was before.
And compared to the Netherlands, I have the feeling that in Hungary a Jew could live more freely, and we also notice when we are in Hungary that Jews and Israelis feel much more safe in the street and to be here.
Yes, I was attacked a few days ago. Yeah. I was here on one of many anti-Israel events with my flag, and a number of people carrying a gigantic PLO banner, gigantic, like many meters long, pulled it over my head and pulled me down suddenly and blamed me for standing in their way. Most of them were local Mohammedans, I call them. They have it in their way of thinking. For them it is a very, very natural thing. In Arab-speaking countries where Islam is a majority, the idea that the Jews are evil people is very common. It's a normal thought.
It was 1 year and 4 months ago. Some refugee came in the morning at 10 o'clock in the morning. He broke all the windows. The police came, they was here in 3 minutes. They didn't know what's happened. When he seen the police, he broke other windows. He broke the door. He went inside, he took the Israeli flag, he went outside, and when he went outside, the police catch him. After they catch him, they judge him, but for what they judge him is bullshit. He didn't get nothing.
I was by a petrol station, wanted to go into the building to pay, and I saw another car was standing there waiting, and they finished already, they paid already. But I said, why don't you start driving? So I looked into the car and saw them looking at me. So they might come and drive into me. So I waited, but they didn't start moving. So then I start walking, and at that very moment they start driving, but I was quick enough to jump away. They were Arabs, jihadists. They are very, there's no way, they're brainwashed, no use in talking to them. Don't start making generalization, number one. Number two, the people coming now from, let's say, Syria, are they anti-Semitic? Yes. Yes, they are. I had here in my house a person a refugee from Syria. And he told me he was brought up with the knowledge you have to kill Jews. But he didn't know if Jews are human beings, animals, or things. He didn't know what it was. So this guy is not anti-Semitic by nature. He's been brought up with a certain way looking at Jewish people. Like women are utensils. This idea has been brought up.
It's very related in immigration. From 2050, they let more than 100,000 inside. They take all the families, and it was worse all the time.
I told many times for newspapers here, there is such a big difference between, let's say, 10, 20 years ago and now. Because now we have here many Muslims, especially two groups, Moroccan and Turkish people. Both are Muslim and they have big problems with Jews. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. The people who believe that are mostly people who know nothing about Islam, know nothing about Quran, know nothing about the mentality of such people, like people from Morocco and Turkey.
Yes, I was very shocked. A few months ago, I woke up with the idea, is it still safe to stay here in Holland? And I got a shock for the very fact that I thought like that. I'm not going to leave. And if I have to leave, because the situation will get so terrible that I can't stay here anymore, the Jews can't stay here anymore, then a captain has to leave his sinking ship as the last and not the first one.
You have only one escape. If you, by time, if you see there is not anymore possible to live here, you can go to Hungary. I admire the government there. I admire the prime minister who dares to say, not many politicians are able to say the truth.
You're welcome in Holland, or not welcome, whatever it is. If you're staying here, you have to accept the multicultural society, and you have to accept that women are not utensils, and that here in Holland we respect each other, although we have different opinions.
I like it. It is good for the Jews also, because the less Muslims, the better for Jews. So I totally agree. That is the only way.
I think best. We've done it also in Israel. There they start, and when they start, the whole world say wow, 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 and now almost Austria also. They make also not war, but they close the border.
I think it's a good decision for Jews, for Hungary, and for Europe.